Hello, guys. Welcome back to Between the Ropes TV. Today, we're going to react to it's been quite a big 36 hours, hasn't it, in the heavyweight division? We've had Dillian Whyte, Otto Wallin cancelled for October the 30th. Apparently, it's because Dillian Whyte's picked up a shoulder injury. There's obviously the conspiracy theorists are out, and we'll get onto that. And then we'll also get onto, the Undisputed title fight. Is it getting further and further away? Robert Helenius, is he going to crash the party? Who knows? We'll get onto it, but we'll start with Dillian Whyte. Ben, what do you think? Are the conspiracy theorists right? What are your views on it?
Well, to start off, I'm gutted. I am gutted we're not going to see him fight. It's a bit of Conor Bent at Fight Camp. That main event, it's really dragged the card down now. And I'm just gutted. It was a good fight, but I think I'm a bit on the side of it could be a blessing in disguise. It's a risky fight. He needs that title shot. So I know people who are disappointed they haven't seen him and they're going to be annoyed. But you know what? Go straight for Fury next. Just forget Wallin. You don't need to do it. Get your title shot. You've already proved yourself.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's going to be as simple as that. Wallin'S team came out this morning and have said, well, the WBC's official ruling was the winner. They would face the winner of the fight would become the mandatory challenger. Obviously, Dillian Whyte is the current interim champion. Some of the wording does refer to Tyson Fury would have to fight the interim champion as such. But Wallin'S team are basically saying, if it's an injury, Dillian Whyte will heal. Once he's healed, we make the fight, winner gets Fury. That, I believe, suits Tyson Fury's team because obviously it gives him the extended break that sort of Bob Arum and Frank Warren have come out this week and said he's actually after, which obviously, depending on the injury, it could buy him 6 to 9 months, couldn't it?
It could, but I think who wants to wait? I think that's the thing, isn't it?
No, as fans, I don't think we do. But, Fury's come out and said he's not thinking about boxing. His team have then come out and said, we want to take an extended... He needs a rest from it all. It's been an emotionally draining time and all the rest of it. Also, we know about his mental health issues previously. So I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be complicated now. Eddie Hearn, in some recent interviews, have said it's down to Dillian Whyte's lawyers to thrash out their situation with the WBC. And it's going to be interesting to see what they rule. I'm a Dillian Whyte fan, so it's hard to not sound biased, as I know you are. For me, Dillian Whyte's done more than enough than to justify his world title shot. More than enough. He's got a better resume than a lot of recent champions, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's for me, with what he's done since he's lost to AJ, he's been the most active heavyweight. He's took the riskiest fights. His resume might not be the best at heavyweight, but there's no mandatories there. He chose to fight every single one he's fought, and they're always entertaining, like the Chisora ones. But even if he lost to Wallin, I'll still be pushing for his fight next week for a title. No matter what happens, that man deserves a title shot. And
I agree, but I do think if you then lose, and I think there'd be money in the Wallin Fury rematch as well, wouldn't there? Because Wallin, in fairness, gave Fury possibly one of his toughest nights certainly in a professional ring. It'll be interesting, and then so you read about that, you're thinking, bloody hell, like. Heavyweight boxing's a little bit, just as we thought it was becoming very clear, Dillian Whyte gets his shot against Fury after Fury's mopped up with Wilder. The rest of the belts, it's quite straightforward. Usyk and Joshua rematch, winners then free to possibly. But there is obviously clearly one man or one governing body that we've all overlooked, and that's Robert Helenius with the WBA. His fight on the Fury-Wilder undercard with Adam Kovnacki, their rematch, was a final eliminator. And in fairness, I actually had to look into this, and you forget, because of COVID, you forget how fast time's gone, don't you? But the last time a WBA mandatory was fought for heavyweight was Povetkin, and that was September 2018. So in fairness, they're going to be saying, well, we've been patient. It's been 3 years.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
No, go on.
I get it. I think from their point of view, you kind of understand it. But if you're going to push someone forward, push someone who can win. He's not even top 10. I'm sorry. It's a poor fighter to push forward for a title shot when everyone's after the undisputed belt, all the belts in one fight, and then you're going to push him on. And I don't get it. Like, I know they're just doing what they think's right, but for boxing, that is a bad call. It is a really bad call.
Well, the ironic thing is Dylan Whyte, obviously we're talking about won't he get a title shot? He beat Helenius back in 2017, didn't he, in Cardiff? So that's the funny thing about it. But, I mean, I don't think it's as cut and dry because obviously you've got Dubois, Trevor Bryan. There is somebody else, the name escapes me, who also all sort of in that top 3 or 4 with the WBA. So it's not as cut and dry, but his team today have said, no, that was a final eliminator. We want the winner of AJ and Usyk.
Wait 1,000 days like Whyte did.
Well, there is that argument, isn't there? It is. I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't mind Helenius versus Usyk because, with the size difference, Helenius he's a big man. I don't mind. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't want, before we get trolled, I wouldn't want it instead of the Undisputed fight. But as a fight, I actually don't mind it because a lot of the limitations that I see with Usyk at heavyweight, Helenius is a lot of those limitations. I do think the size is a factor.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think anyone will be backing him against any of the Usyk, Joshua, Whyte, Fury, even Wallin. I don't think people will be backing him. And the 2 heavyweight fights I've had this year, everyone got excited about the Wilder one, the Usyk one. And it's like everyone's got excited. Now we're getting closer. People are looking forward to the AJ rematch. People are looking forward to Whyte Fury. And no one wants to see this spanner thrown into the works, do they? And I think if it does, then we will never see the unification fight.
No, that is the thing, isn't it? I was thinking about that, and I was trying to think of timings, and so they've already sort of said that Joshua Usyk's going to be sort of March, April, so they're not going to then go till September, potentially September, October for a potential WBA mandatory. You're then into February, March time, what would be 23. You're then going to have the IBF back knocking on the door saying, time for our mandatory again. It's a vicious circle, isn't it? But what really, and I don't want to, when we do these reactions to news, obviously Scott does it and he loves a little rant, doesn't he? He's still on his holidays, for anybody wondering where he is. But why is it, at 140 pounds, we've seen Terence Crawford became undisputed. They did the unifications 4 years ago, I believe. Josh Taylor at 140 pounds has obviously done that this year. We're seeing Canelo Plant do it at 168. Why can it be done at other divisions? Why is it the heavyweight division? Because it is the glamour division. Yeah. It is the division people tune in to see. Why can't we see these big fights? And to be honest, as you're the only one here, you need to give me the answer because it's doing my absolute head in.
I haven't got an answer, but I've got a question that could be the answer. Has that one thing that you've said there, all these American-based fighters, all based in America, does it have something to do with how they can, over here, when you've got Hearn, and it does seem harder to make those big fights. They've always seemed to struggle with them, and it's like Hearn seems to have to do the chasing. So I do wonder, has it got something to do with that? There's always something laid out to always get there, whereas heavyweight, I don't think they've ever wanted to get there as well.
But they've managed it, haven't they? I mean, you mentioned Eddie Hearn there, in fairness. I know Canelo won them, but he negotiated a unification with Callum Smith. He's done it again with Billy Joe Saunders. Obviously, he promotes Canelo. It's just so frustrating. I mean, we could be here all day. So to finish up, Ben, prediction time, heavyweight division. It's all up in the air at the minute. Where's the dust going to settle?
I think we'll get the Whyte-Wallin rematch. I think Whyte will win it. I think
a rematch.
Not rematch, sorry. Well, yeah, you get it. And I just think you'll get the Fury fight. I think that'll come with Whyte. I think AJ Usyk. I think that they will fight. The winner will get Robert Helena. I cannot say that man's name. So I'm going to put Robert. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. And I think then there'll finally be, end of next year, there'll be talk of it. I just don't think it'll happen. We'll never get the unification. I think Fury will fall off the map again. And I think all the belts will get split up. Because I think to make it realistic, whoever wins that Usyk and Joshua will have to drop a belt. And then it just all goes again.
Charles Martin, 2-time heavyweight champion.
That is coming. I think you just, that is the headline. That's what's going to happen, isn't it?
Clickbait.
There's more chance a day now. Not more chance of Dave Allen being unified world champion than Tyson or anyone at this rate.
No. See, do you know what? I'm going to go against you.
Go on.
I think we'll get the Whyte Wallin fight. And it pains me to say it, but I've just got it in my... I can see Wallin winning it. And then I think you'll get a Wallin Fury fight. I'm still backing Joshua to come through against Usyk. And then I think you will see some form of an undisputed fight. I think the WBA will support the undisputed fight and Helenius. Because don't forget, I think where the spanner will come is you've got Trevor Bryan, who's their regular champion.
Yeah.
Supposedly fighting Daniel Dubois. So I think that situation will stay complicated just long enough for us to finally, after... I mean, I say it feels like 5 years, but it probably has been 5 years we've been talking about an undisputed world heavyweight title fight.
Well, it's funny you say that. WBA haven't had the mandatory since Povetkin, but that was well before Wilder's fought his number one mandatory with the WBC.
No, you're wrong there. You're wrong. I believe... No, Brazil. I think it was in June 19. I think.
Yeah, but wasn't Whyte already one and Brazil was two? Brazil never got...
Yeah, I'm sure Brazil, you're making yourself look silly here. Brazil was called the mandatory. You need to go on. You need to go on Google because there was uproar about it at the time. How has he jumped the rankings? And there was.
There you go, cheating the system, but
cheating the system. But there we go. Right on that bombshell, we'll wrap it up. Ben's gonna have to go and do some homework, I think. Don't forget, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we will see you on the next one.
Cheers.